And it looks like we are... Oh, hold on a second. Gotta turn that thing on. We are live. Welcome back to the Mining Market Signal. My name is Seth, and you are watching Mind Your Biz. We do this every Monday and Wednesday at around 5:05 Pacific Standard Time. Thank you for tuning in. We got something a little bit... there's a lot of this that is kind of seamless for you guys. I've been mentioning in the comments right now that I switched to Garuda Linux, and I'm really excited about the new setup that I have right now. But guys, this is a live show. Chat is live, and you don't have to be any kind of like, you don't have to do like any sort of super chat or give a contribution or anything like that to have your comments read or to be engaged with, right? This is a live show. So if you have questions, ask them. If I can answer them, I'll try. If I can't, audience, please do your best to lift other people up and answer questions that you see come in. Hey, we got Doug tuning in from Arizona, says, I'll pay attention until I get to my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu class. That's exciting, man. I'm glad you're sticking with it, Doug. I know you're actually, I think you're testing out to some relatively advanced belts now. Yeah, you're beyond intermediate at this point. Exciting time. Guys, without further ado, let's check in on the Fear and Greed Index, shall we? So as you can see, we got, guys, I wasn't kidding. We actually have like live comments. So please be on your best behavior. That would be awesome. If you would please do that for me. Do me a solid. Stay on your best behavior. So guys, we got the Fear and Greed Index at a current score of 24. Let me go ahead and refresh this page. We can see what the real-time score is. We've actually dropped down to 20, right? So yeah, 20. That's pretty exciting to see that we're continuing into the sort of massive fear range, extreme fear range. And again, is this any kind of legal, financial, or business advice? The answer to that is a resounding no. No, it is not. It is not meant to be legal, financial, or business advice. You need to do your own research. You need to figure out what the best possible choice is for you, right? Like, don't blame somebody on YouTube that you didn't go and read up on a project, or that you thought that they were giving you advice and that you just aped into something. Really, this is not Wall Street Bets, and I am not your financial advisor. So, that said, when I see a pattern like this, when I see that everybody else is fearful, I get greedy. When I see that everybody else is greedy, I get nervous, right? I get fearful. Right now, we're still in that extreme fear range. Guys, I hope you'll forgive me. There's a little bit of lag on this browser. I've been trying out a new one. Let me show you exactly what I'm working with here. It's called Fire Dragon. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna have to go back to, there we go. Oh, nope, stop it. Fire Dragon. Basically, it's a fork of Firefox. Wow, I've got the auto switcher turned on OBS and it's backfiring right now. But it's called Fire Dragon, and it is a fork of Firefox, but it is maintained by the Garuda Linux team. So this is kind of like proof of Linux right now. At least the machine that I'm working with right now is on Linux, but it's Garuda Linux, and it's custom built just for this. Got a bunch of privacy respecting stuff built in. I've really enjoyed it so far. But there are some things as far as the rendering engine, right? The web rendering engine inside of Firefox that they forked from that isn't always as smooth as Chromium, right? But that they've got a monopoly. I'm not a huge fan of always using Chromium, and I've been using Brave for a while. And if you remember our last broadcast, I tried to show you TX Street, and it was Brave that broke both TX Street and I think the Brains OS mining calculator for Bitcoin. So it's pretty crazy. Guys, let me do some shout outs real fast. Alex Burton's in the house, says, what up, my ninjas? Alex the Goat is in the house. Sweet. Hey, glad you're here. Golden Wolf is excited too, says, posted by mistake in here about a 3900, but an XT is coming Friday. People, guys, you're getting straight to business. It's awesome. I'm seeing a bunch of people talk shop in the chat, and that's great. That's exactly what we want. Let me get back to some market talk, and we'll jump back in, do some shout outs. So before we jump back into the market talk, Ray J is here. AZ Irmajawa is here. Sam is here. Golden Wolf is here. Dextera Gamer is here. Integra Guy 041 is here. Raven Boy Crypto is here. Anonymous Miner is here. Guys, thanks so much for being here live. It's so great to have more people to talk to about this stuff together. Yeah, pretty awesome, guys. Really appreciate you being here and making this that much more fun. So we see this journey that we've been on as far as the Fear and Greed Index. Sorry, again, for the choppiness that's in the browser. But we've been kind of playing with this level of extreme fear for a while, and we are solidly in extreme fear. Why is that, right? These are sentiment-driven markets. People feel this way, and so what are they thinking? What's influencing them to feel and to buy this way or to behave this way? Well, I think that one of those things in the most recent news cycle is the Verifone news. I think this is bullish, and that's where the sort of clickbaity title comes from, is people always talk about like mass adoption. We need mass adoption. Things need to be easier. It's like, okay, well, what could possibly be easier than taking a phone that you already have, right, that already does contactless payments, over to a point of sale system that already does contactless payments and has for the better part of almost 10 years now? Ask me how I know, because I was on the ISIS mobile wallet team that helped roll out contactless payments for AT&T before Google Wallet acquired them for contactless payments, and years and years before Apple Pay came out with their version of NFC payments. This has been a long time coming, right? And it's been rolled out at the point of sale in commerce for years now. So what could be easier than taking those point of sale systems that already have that and doing a software update to simply show you a QR code? Not much, right? Verifone has that infrastructure. Hundreds of thousands of retailers. Go to a CVS, go to a Walgreens, go to McDonald's if you feel so inclined. Go to any number of places where you would normally spend fiat money, and you probably will see a Verifone point of sale system installed. So when people say like, okay, this is, not that mass adoption, I wanted the other mass adoption. It's like, bro, this is what mass adoption looks like. Mass adoption looks like major institutions. They're going to come in and try to manipulate price. They're going to come in and try to tell you that you have to deal with KYC and AML, and you have to do things their way. And when you go and, whatever, if you really feel like spending Satoshis at McDonald's, like when you do that, you de-anonymize yourself over, the price of a McCafe, right? Or a Big Mac. Like, that's what mass adoption looks like. That's exactly what it looks like. Is it looks like you selling the future sovereignty of your money for a mess of pottage, right? For a burger. So just be aware. That's kind of what comes with that deal. But I do think this is kind of bullish. I do think this is overall bullish for Bitcoin. If the news from El Salvador was bullish for Bitcoin, then definitely the news out of Verifone is bullish for Bitcoin. And here's why. It's a partnership really with BitPay. So people who are saying like, well, Verifone is going to start accepting Bitcoin payments. It's like, no, not exactly. It's not Bitcoin only. And in fact, we're going to go through the stable of coins that are being offered by Verifone, but it's not Bitcoin only, and it's certainly not Bitcoin even primarily, right? So yeah, but let's take a look a little bit more closely. I say it's an extension of BitPay's blockchain payment technology to enable consumer cryptocurrency payments on Verifone's in-store and e-commerce cloud service platforms in the United States. So first off, we've got some limitations. This is US only, right? If you're international, you need not apply. Verifone's doing this in the United States as a pilot program, and they're doing this with BitPay that has their Bit license. So they're New York legal, right? They're basically, I think, at least 48 state legal. They might not be legal in Hawaii because practically nothing is by way of cryptocurrency, but they might be. If there's any company that is potentially legal in Hawaii, it's probably BitPay in Hawaii and New York. Those are very difficult states to do business in. If you're a cryptocurrency payment processor, if you're a Bitcoin company, right? Even if you're Bitcoin only, right now with the whole like Gary Gensler being very pro Bitcoin and very anti everything else. If you're a Bitcoin only company, you still have a very difficult time doing business in New York and Hawaii under the best of circumstances. So here's Verifone with the best credentials you can possibly get in the payment processing space, combining with BitPay that has the best credentials you can get in the cryptocurrency commerce payments space. Now, we don't like them because they're centralizing, but this is what mass adoption looks like. And the reason is it's easy for merchants to implement. If a merchant finds it easy, they're going to actually use it. It's like contactless payments versus, just using the mag strip credit cards. The reason that so few merchants actually accepted NFC payments 10 years ago when they were first made available to most consumers was that they were worried that like, okay, well, what if this person has an iPhone and iPhone doesn't support that yet? And when will my iPhone customers be able to make a contactless payment? And will it really be worth Starbucks flipping every single point of sale system over to some kind of contactless payment system until everybody with an iPhone that wants to come in and buy their the Mocha Hipster latte, the venti double, what's the word I was going to look for? I was going to try to make it sound really, really mean. Their mocha double whiny millennial latte, right? It's like whatever, venti, like, and actually make it a Trenta. Like when they want to go in and buy that, they're probably going to use an iPhone. Let's be real, right? Like that's iPhones and Starbucks are like a hand and a glove, right? They fit the same consumer profile. So how are you going to convince Starbucks to put in contactless payments if iPhone users are left out? So it took years to get this adopted over there. But when you say that it's like, no, it's really, really easy. And all you have to do is your current point of sale system, allow us to do a firmware update. Maybe it'll cost you a little bit more to be able to do the accounting over on our side, because you'll have to decide the way you do with BitPay, if you want to do instant settlement to USD, or if you want to maintain a specific profit margin in Bitcoin or a specific profit margin in the native asset, because it could be Litecoin or something else. But then you set up that accounting with your account rep. Like it's that easy. You talk to a person on the phone at Verifone as a merchant, right? As a business operator, you just talk to somebody on the phone who normally handles your account. You tell them, oh, I want these things done. Will it cost anything more? Oh, cool. And then I get a firmware update to my point of sale system, right? And then I'm done. And that's it. That's mass adoption. Mass adoption, unfortunately, is not going to be every young business owner putting in their own full node behind the counter on a Raspberry Pi and then having their own like custom, like touchscreen tablet that has like privacy shields on it to make sure that only one person can scan this particular QR code, and definitely doing coin joins after every single transaction. That's not going to happen. Not this year, unfortunately, for most businesses. And for as much as we want it to be as privacy respecting as possible, it's going to be the former, not the latter. So that's what it looks like. But here's the real meat and potatoes, guys. People talk about it like it's going to be just Bitcoin, right? Bitcoiners talk about it like it's going to be just Bitcoin. But here's the catch. It's going to be Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, Bitcoin Cash, Wrapped Bitcoin, Litecoin, and then USD pegged stable coins. And I put in red everything that lives on the Ethereum network. Let's take a look at that again. Everything in red lives on Ethereum. 7 out of these assets, 7 out of, gosh, what is that? 7 out of 10 assets, a full 70% of these assets are Ethereum-based assets. So, sorry, that's what mass adoption looks like too, because stablecoins run on Ethereum today. Now, you and I are both saying, like, good grief. Again, using the Starbucks analogy, because when you talk about a point of sale system, that is where people's minds go. That's why Roger Ver talked about that for years, right? Buying coffee with Bitcoin. But at Starbucks, that unfortunately means that mocha millennial like whiny latte, whatever, and again, getting it into a double venti, like that is going to cost $25 in fees to get that latte. Doesn't make sense for a whole lot of people, not financially. So we'll take a look at some of the fees a little later on. But I just thought that was very interesting that right now, the majority of the assets that are going to, like more than a majority of the assets that are going to be supported by Verifone are actually ERC20s and Ethereum natively. You're going to have Doge, you're going to have Bitcoin Cash, you're going to have Litecoin. I think, frankly, in my opinion, all of those are going to be great options at the point of sale. All of them, I think we would agree, would be superior options to Ethereum in terms of low fees. And all of them in terms of long-term value. I think we would view most of those as less of a good long-term hold as compared to Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin, I think, has that staying power to become the new reserve of value in the world. Like it will replace gold if it hasn't already, right? But Litecoin, Dogecoin, Bitcoin Cash, I think we're a little more comfortable just spending those, right? Treating those a little bit more like dollars or fiat, right? It's like, okay, easy come, easy go. There's infinite emissions of Dogecoin. So in the same way that the Fed has been printing money nonstop, the Doge network prints Dogecoins nonstop, and they will never stop because Jackson Palmer initially conceived of Doge as a joke and financially did everything he could to make it the opposite of Bitcoin. So it's never going to be the same store of value that Bitcoin is. So who knows? Maybe it will work well at retail like this. Or maybe if you see a top coming in, you can go buy your lattes with Doge and leave Starbucks saddled with the counterparty risk of Doge like rapidly losing all its value. So a couple other notable notes here. So they say the appetite for crypto payments has exploded this year. This is one of their own representatives. They say together we've solved all the potential challenges for merchants. There's no translation risk, low implementation costs, and consumers will find the payment experience very seamless. That's awesome. It says the partnership also allows Verifone the right to make a strategic investment in BitPay. Ding, ding, ding. This is where they actually get something. They're not going to be adding any kind of like massive fee that they're skimming off the top. But I think they are going to be, with whatever fees there are that BitPay already assesses to merchants, they're going to get something from the back end, right? So for merchants who want to accept this, or for vendors who want to accept this as their merchant payment processor, that's where Verifone is going to work directly with BitPay, and they're going to take their little like chunk out of this whole business. Like, I just need 1% of every single transaction throughout the world. That's what Verifone wants to try to get in on. That's what BitPay's been doing for years with crypto payments natively and in business with that Bit license. So it's not, I mean, it's not exactly sinister or anything, but then if they don't like your business model, if they get a letter from somebody who works at a 3-letter agency, yeah, you're probably done, right? You're probably done being serviced by this company or this alliance at this point. But again, bottom line, people who are interested in this and current Verifone merchants, they can contact a Verifone sales representative. They make it about as easy as possible. If you already have a Verifone point of sale system, call the person who installed it and say, I think I want to take Bitcoin payments. And you'll probably have them within about 48 hours. So guys, mass adoption is happening right now. What is holding anybody back? I think just the fact that they might not know that it's available at a point of sale system that they already use. So Alexander Britton says 3-letter company, like, I said 3-letter agency, not company. So no, not AT&T, not AT&T, brother. Here's some other news that I think is definitely cool. And this one comes out of the AP News. So U.S. military eyes prototype mobile nuclear reactor in Idaho, of all places. I mean, I guess if you're going to make an accident with a mobile nuclear reactor, Idaho is as safe as any other place. I mean, didn't they used to do their tests out in the middle of Nevada? I mean, Idaho actually has people in it, doesn't it? But whatever, I guess the mob doesn't own Idaho, so go to Idaho. But scrolling on down, it's a little bit older. It's from the 24th of this month. But the Department of Defense is building a mobile nuclear micro reactor prototype at the Idaho National Laboratory in eastern Idaho. And surprise, surprise, eastern Idaho, this is actually the opposite side, right? I was thinking western Idaho. I'm sorry. I'm thinking Coeur d'Alene on the border of Washington State. There's a lot of mining in western Idaho. Actually, in eastern Idaho, not so much. This is closer to Boise, if you know the geography of Idaho. But western Idaho, there's actually a lot of mining that takes place there. And then, yeah, mobile microreactor, nuclear microreactor. Did your ears just perk up too? Did you just think like, okay, a mobile microreactor, something that could fit on the back of like a fifth wheel trailer, right? Or a truck. And you could actually really crank out some really, really heavy power. I mean, I got excited too. I'm not going to lie. Something you could park like where an RV would go at your house and have that power as many miners as you want, or park it over in an industrial area and then power as many miners as you have in like a storage unit or something. So you don't have to work with the grid to be able to bring power to the location. Or what the heck, go out in the middle of nowhere, right? Get one of these satellite internet dishes from Starlink, and then you're in business because you've got power anywhere that you can haul this thing out to and set it down, right? Yeah. Ray J says in the comments, certain types of small reactors are incapable of accidentally melting down. Guys, let me go ahead and throw our chat up on the screen as well so you can see that. But yeah, it's exciting, guys. Really, really exciting to see, yeah, mobile micro reactors actually happening. And, you know, leave it to the Department of Defense to actually spend tax dollars on something kind of useful, sandwiched in between all the other horrible things that they do with our tax dollars. Occasionally, they do make breakthroughs in material sciences, and they do make breakthroughs in all kinds of other like related scientific pursuits. The Army Corps of Engineers does all kinds of good stuff throughout the world. Alex seems pretty excited by solar mining. I think solar mining is just fine. Solar mining is not carbon free. So look at the total life cycle of the cost to total carbon footprint rather of photovoltaic panels. And then, I mean, the power inverters aren't that much, but they're not as big a footprint, the physical footprint, but the carbon footprint of just the photovoltaic panels themselves, really not great. It's really not totally green yet. For us as miners, I totally agree, right? Solar panels are awesome, right? If you have them and if you've acquired them inexpensively, we're pretty much DIYers, right? So we can definitely get those things set up anywhere there's enough space, right? With the right kind of sunlight. And then we're pretty darn good. Next Level Up says, mind your biz, you'd love my off-grid school bus conversion I am working on. Well, bro, if you can get a nuclear microreactor to fit inside of your school bus conversion, then more power to you. Literally more power to you, like all the power to you. You could basically make it electric and have it like run off a nuclear microreactor. That sort of application, again, like you could make it work because you've got enough hauling power and you've got like in the axles that are set up in a vehicle like that. Be pretty amazing, I think. Wouldn't it? An RV that has a nuclear microreactor, that's actually big enough for you to do it. And in fact, probably big enough for, if you wanted to be able to do a very thin firewall, right? Between the cabin or any of the areas where you have people, right? Occupants and the microreactor itself. Because of the way a bus has flooring and then everything underneath the flooring for the drivetrain and powertrain and everything. So you could potentially, if you did a conversion, you could potentially put some kind of a microreactor in there, and then of course put a battery storage system if you needed to, based on the amount of output that you put into a nuclear microreactor there. But a battery storage system so that if you needed to like wait to recharge, so you had more power on demand, right? Had higher amperage and output on demand for the electric system, right? The electric drivetrain, you could start seeing like all electric transportation, public transportation that has its own little portable nuclear microreactor. There's kind of almost no reason not to move in this direction as a society. But, you know, probably a couple of good reasons that I'm not considering. Obviously, you will tell me in the comments. Please do. So yeah, there's all kinds of all kinds of ways we can do this. Guys, I'm starting to see so many great comments rolling in. Alex apparently feels okay with putting photovoltaics on his neighbor's shed when they aren't looking. I'm sorry. His neighbors apparently have done it to him. I think I got that backwards. Pretty sure I read that backwards. But apparently, yeah, some people have problems with that. Ozzy Bogentech says, my panels are over 20 years old. Oof. Yeah, that's rough. As I'm sure you well know, the efficiency of 20-year-old panels is just not what it is today. And so the upgrade cycle, too, of trying to get higher efficiencies from newer equipment, it makes something that's 20 years old not totally irrelevant, but maybe kind of, right? Like when you compare it to something a little bit newer. I mean, it's not that the power inverters, again, the power inverters are fine, right? That's very sound science. And you don't need much of like a die shrink or anything on the power inverters or the rest of the infrastructure. But the photovoltaics themselves, they improve in efficiencies, which is great. We love to see it. But what happens to the old stuff? Landfill, right? Unless there's some way to recapture that and recycle it, or just keep on throwing it out onto more land where you try to capture more and more. But just like with other generations of technology, the point of diminishing returns, it hits faster than we like, right? Definitely within our lifetime, all of us will see older generation photovoltaics quietly be retired. It doesn't fit the green narrative very well to say, oh, we got to throw away, tons and tons and tons of green energy products. It's a sad thing, though. We're going to see that in our lifetimes because of how much has been deployed and will need to be recalled because it's just not efficient enough. Doesn't cut the mustard. So let's jump back into our comment section here. Ray J said certain types of small reactors are incapable of accidentally melting down. I think I may have already read that. I know I may have read it out loud. That's awesome. I'm not super familiar with reactor technology, but a makerspace that I used to go to frequently, the proprietor of that makerspace, he had submitted a grant for a micro reactor. And he was convinced that he was going to get this grant. He just needed $2 million to be able to build a nuclear micro reactor. Oh yeah. And then he actually needed the uranium, but whatever. After you've got a grant and, the federal government knows what you're doing and they're watching you already and you've got whatever, an FBI handler, then you're fine with uranium. Seriously. They're like, okay, yeah, it's a scientist, the scientific pursuit. What could go wrong? So yeah, awesome. Oh, hey there. Dang, we got a lot of comments coming in. So yeah, and Alex brings up a great point, guys. So hydroelectric, tried and true in the mining scene. Hydroelectric is awesome because when you do tap water from hydroelectric, you can bring it all the way up into a water tower, and then you can tap your hydroelectric from your own water tower, and you can even underneath your hydro generator, you can then use that for whatever other purpose you need, right? You can irrigate, you can put it right back into the water source you took it from, so you can be a very responsible steward. So just bring it up to a higher elevation, slightly higher elevation, depending on if you're on a grade or not. So many ways to be able to use water as a non-electric battery, right? As a kinetic battery. So awesome stuff, right? And hydroelectric, unless you've got a really, really, dry season, hydroelectric tends to not run out. But looking back at nuclear, because nuclear is amazing. Yeah, we got this little mobile nuclear micro reactor being proposed there. And so a safe, small, transportable nuclear reactor would address this growing demand with resilient, carbon-free energy source, supporting mission-critical operations in remote and austere environments. Well, what could be more remote and austere than a mining operation way out in the desert, or a mining operation like, way off in the mountains, right? Or in the, in the forest, right? Maybe you live in Washington State and you've got land that's like unbuildable, or you live in Texas and you've got land that's unbuildable because it's just so far removed. What if you could get one of these things flown in and dropped off, and right next to it, or right on top of it, I guess, whatever, have another shipping container with all your mining rigs? Then you have just a little, satellite dish, and you're golden. You're contributing to the network, whichever one you want to secure. And then you got Bitcoin, or whatever the coin coming out of it, coming back to you for years to come with minimal maintenance on the power side. I think this is bullish. I think this is really exciting. And I sincerely hope that this sees the light of day. They're saying that this current one, that the Department of Defense uses 30 terawatt hours of electricity per year and more than 10 million gallons of fuel per day, right? So between diesel generators and other kinds of fuel. But yeah, 30 terawatt hours of energy. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's the Department of Defense. But I wonder how that stacks up against Bitcoin. Well, last time it was measured here, this is New York Times, and this is a paywalled article. So I'm using reader mode right now to as a simple hack to defeat the paywall. That's why I didn't put a link in the description. I also ran out of space there. But here at last count, I think that they showed around 91 terawatt hours of electricity annually for the Bitcoin network. And then they say, oh, it's more than the people of Finland. 5.5 million people in Finland don't even use that much. But here's the thing. I think we just discovered, Uncle Sam just told us that Uncle Sam uses about a third of that just for the military. So I think some of the military applications and some of the science that comes out of military spending is perfectly appropriate to evaluate for blockchain, right? I think this fits because you're looking at maybe triple, and maybe if we project into the future, quadruple, maybe 5 times. We can even just, stay safe and just 10x. Whatever Uncle Sam makes here, if we can know for sure that this will fit the needs, right? It'll fit the requirement of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency miners, then once the material sciences are done and the plans are set and we have a mil spec for something that actually doesn't suck, and then we can improve upon it in the private sector by making sure that mil spec or, or military grade doesn't actually mean like, oh yeah, it's it's Chernobyl waiting to happen, right? On the back of a trailer and then, dragged around wherever you bring it throughout the world. Once we kind of have that in place, who knows, right? It would take about 10x the amount that they're planning to use, so that they're not straining the oil supply of the United States and its partner countries, right? Or wherever it's sourcing its oil supply from today with those 10 million gallons of fuel every day that the Department of Defense uses. So pretty crazy stuff. Now think about this. Bitcoin mining but we're just looking at this, the transitive property of energy usage, right? We're just using the same variable, right? And we know it takes about 3 times as much energy. That would mean that Bitcoin mining, if it were dependent on oil, would require about 30 million gallons of gas every single day, right? That's how much it would require. So if we were totally dependent on petroleum-based products for Bitcoin, yeah, Bitcoin would be terrible, but we're not, right? In El Salvador, Bitcoin's being mined on volcanoes. So I think we're doing better than the Department of Defense, certainly today. Probably not even using as much oil as they are, or in terms of Bitcoin mining, just Bitcoin mining, not Ethereum and everything else. But I just thought that was really fascinating, guys. Had to bring it up, had to talk about it just a little bit. Seeing a bunch of other comments coming in. AZ says the remote mining operation still needs reliable internet. Yep, it's Starlink. Yeah. So satellite internet is quite reliable now, and the bandwidth is overkill actually for Bitcoin mining. You don't really need ultra high bandwidth. You need low ping, and even at that, only relatively low ping. You're still going to be fine. You're still not going to drop too many shares. So something like Starlink would absolutely get the job done. And then make sure that you have use that as basically your WAN, right? So everything else is up to you as the network architect for that little facility. So yeah, Starlink ought to cover just about any facility like this that's out mobile. Hey, oh, that's cool. We got Splinter Shield in the chat, guys. We've got a gaming streamer in the chat right now. Say hello to Splinter Shield and welcome to the channel. Good to see that you are here, slumming it with us, talking about cryptocurrencies and talking about mining. Yes, I'll have to talk to you about what do you guys think? Can I get the Division to play on Linux? Because I think that Splinter Shield is a big player of the Division. Actually, was an early adopter of the Division, and I think the Division too. So pretty cool. Yeah, pretty darn cool. I'm on Linux right now. Like I literally I made this big video about it. Like I'm leaving, right? I slammed the door shut. I locked it and then I slammed it shut. I'm like, I'm doing Linux. So I think I did a full video about how it was this big to do to get GTA 5 running on Linux because it's not really supposed to. So I feel really good about myself for having that run on Linux. And then of course the Steam games that already run, or the Valve games that already run on Linux, they were designed to run on Linux, but maybe we can do a series on hacking the Division so I can join in the fun. But it'll be like instant death, right? Instant kills, right? Mind Your Biz will enter the room and everyone will be like, yes, finally can up my scores by just slaughtering this guy repeatedly. Where's he going to respawn? Yeah, he's done. So that'll be fun for somebody, probably less so for me. But anyway, guys, chat's coming through. Ozzy Bogentech is saying Ultra's vanadium batteries have a 20-year warranty. With a 10-year service interval, there's no reduction or degradation in energy storage capacity over this life and is likely to last indefinitely. Yeah, hey, so storage capacity is great. Lead acid batteries, people don't like to hear it, but again, because it's inconvenient. But again, lead acid batteries are dope. They're great. Just don't spill them. It's that easy. Don't spill lead acid batteries and you're golden. But in the meantime, lead acid batteries are everywhere. Everywhere in uninterruptible power supplies in data centers all around the world. So yeah, it's kind of a balance, right? Between stuff that actually works and stuff that we think is green, right? And then the application of the stuff that actually works in a green way, right? I don't mean to poo-poo photovoltaics or hydroelectric or any number of other green energies. I just mean to say with all of what we have there, if we add responsible, clean nuclear energy, we've got a diverse basket of energy sources to choose from. And for cryptocurrency mining, that's actually what we want. We don't just want to be reliant on one thing, because if you have a dry season, hydro sucks. If you have clouds, photovoltaics suck. If you happen to, the wind stops blowing to the extent that you need it to hit your wattage output, your total electricity needs, wind energy sucks. None of them is perfect. None of them is foolproof. All of them are absolutely at the whim of a sudden act of God, right? Like the sort of thing that would cause you to file an insurance claim. But on the flip side, clean nukes, properly designed nuclear energy reactors and micro reactors, like what we're seeing here, the DoD wants to fund, when they're properly designed, you don't have the Fukushima problems. You don't have the Chernobyls. These are actually textbook examples of what happens when people do almost everything wrong. So most nukes, by and large, have been clean and incident-free. Most. So if we can get rid of the stigma of like, well, you know what happens when you build a nuclear reactor, it obviously melts down and you obviously poison the planet. That's not obvious. That's not always what happens. It's not even the majority of what happens the majority of the times with the majority of reactors. Like, we need much, much better design. Yes. Much better fail safes. Absolutely. But we've learned we can grow. We can do better. That's all I'm saying. So I think that the news is kind of exciting. So without talking down anything else, I like options. So that's why I brought it up. I hope it's not too weird. Let's see. Pocket Chain says, "Mind your biz. Why and how are you so smart?" Smart? It's not smart. It's autism. It's autism. And it's weaponized because I'm highly caffeinated. So thanks. All right, guys, that's the AP news source there. We see the Bitcoin news there. Let's take a look at the Ethereum. I wanted to synthesize something that was brought up by the illustrious Bitsby Trippin. Absolutely love Carter's content. And he went live earlier today, or he published something earlier today talking about the mass migration of Ethereum hash rate. Splinter Shield. He says, uh-oh, weaponized autism. We know a thing or two about that. Caffeinated, bro. You have no idea. The caffeine. Seriously, I'm at this point where it's like, okay, I got to get a doctor to prescribe this, but I need like B vitamins plus caffeine on the IV drip. Pretty sure they can do it. Pretty sure it's legal, depending on who you ask. A doctor will allow it. So, guys, I wanted to follow up on something that Bitsby Trippin had from before and talking about how there will be a migration. It's not a question of if, but when. It will happen, right? It will happen that these mining pools are shutting down for Ethereum. Bpool and Sparkpool. In fact, we're seeing the reduction right now. These two have flippened. Nanopool was below Sparkpool in the stacked rankings before. And now Sparkpool is dropping. So it is shutting down tomorrow. Now, tomorrow, exactly whose time? I know Ozzy Bogentech is like, bro, it's already the 30th. Shut up. I get, look, we get it. You're Ozzy. All right. And we're late. Everybody else is wrong. Forgive us. But here in the United States, it's still the 29th. We got one more day. So like, don't begrudge us thinking that it's actually September 29th today. But Sparkpool is shutting down on the 30th. And we're starting to see some of that hash rate flip. There will be some lazy miners, especially large scale miners with over 54 terahash still on that pool. There will be some lazy miners that don't switch in time. They don't get the memo. They don't figure it out. And they say, oh, well, why aren't we returning shares? And it'll probably be like somebody who actually invests in it, right? And it invests in that operation, be calling some dude who's like not at the warehouse, they're at home or whatever. They're playing Call of Duty or something, or CSGO. And right. And they're like, oh, what's wrong, boss? You need me to go like, did some miners go offline? You need me to go like physically turn it off and on again? And that guy's going to be like, bro, our wallets aren't getting any payments. WTF. So that's going to happen. Like, mark my words, every single time there's a massive switch like this, a massive changeover, there's that one dude. And it's not even a trivial amount. It's going to be like 5,000 GPUs, or it's going to be like 25,000 GPUs in total. A lot of hash rate is what I'm saying. Is going to stay on Sparkpool until somebody gets like a kick in the pants to go and turn off the miners. They're going to run for a couple of days, probably, like literally a couple of days without any profit. So is this an opportunity for you, for me, for anybody else who's mining Ethereum? Maybe. So it's just cool to see that we're gonna witness that kind of a change. There's always part of me that's kind of like, I see a change like that, and I'm like, should I start a mining pool? I could do it, but then it's so much work. I mean, it's so much work. It's so much work to run a mining pool and have all the uptime. Like, there's really actually not a lot of profit left over in terms of running mining pools, and the margins are very low. And we don't want to pay like whatever. Clearly, we're paying F2 pool 2%. So I mean, they're getting double what everybody else is, but it's really not that much profit. So Son of a Tech, that big shout out, right? Son of a Tech. He previously ran several pools, and I think he may still run a couple of lower maintenance pools, but not Ethereum, right? So I think he ran Sumo, right? So Sumo, and I don't know if he had a Carbovanets pool as well. But the point is, it's really hard. That's when he was working, like he wasn't even doing YouTube as much anymore. He was working full time, doing his day job that really kept him hands on a lot of the tools that he would use for being the admin of a mining pool. And he was like, bro, I'm going to tap out. I'm going to have to look up the video, but I distinctly remember him being like, this is not worth the effort, because then there was like developer drama, and I think it was Ryo currency, and everybody got all cat fight, between the Monero devs and the Ryo devs, and everybody got all crazy. And he was like, dude, I just want to run a pool. I was hoping that it would make some money, but like, this is not worth my time. So maybe not running a pool. Unless you think I should. Should I really not run a pool, or should I actually maybe try it? Because I've been talking about a lot of things lately, but yeah, maybe a pool that just pays out on exclusively pays out on Polygon, AVAX, and Pulse Chain when it finally launches or whatever. Gives alternate payouts of wrapped Ethereum. That would be cool. Yeah. I think it'd be cool anyway. So yeah, getting out of here. Anonymous Miner says DIY power walls. Heck yeah, Jehu Garcia for the win. That dude is the man. But we're going to see B-Pool shutting down mid-October, so expect to see maybe a little bit of Chinese hash rate over there for a bit longer. Ethermine, they're not going anywhere. And I might add, they're still offering Polygon-based payouts. So you don't pay a fee, and then you've got wrapped Ethereum on Polygon that allows you to quickly transfer, right? Your transactions are low, and your trades are darn near free, right? Fractions of a fraction of a penny. So Ethermine is in the number one spot there. I expect to see that grow. I expect to see the dominance of wrapped Ethereum on Polygon grow as Ethermine grows too. That said, right now, they're huge. They're a behemoth. We do need competition to Ethermine as far as wrapped payments go. So hopefully we see that soon. Got somebody asking in the comments section about helium mining. Not my favorite thing. So I don't want to say anything negative, but it's really not my favorite thing. Out of conscience, I don't do it. I think it's probably a bad trend to have a bunch of internet connected devices in people's homes, and I don't want to enable that by having an Internet of Things relay device in my home. Whether they claim that the information is encrypted and anonymized or not, I don't want to be party to it. There are plenty of other people who will tell you about helium mining and will give you referral links so they can get a kickback on you buying a helium miner. But I'm not going to be that guy today. Yeah, sorry. I just kind of I took a stand against that a little while ago, and nothing against anybody else who's doing that education. Like, they've earned every penny, right, of that referral. They really have. So, just saying, that's the business though, right? So they're going to keep showing you that content. I'm probably not going to start, just to manage your expectations there. So yeah, guys, that is the current Ethereum out. There it is. It flipped again. That's crazy. So Nanopool was just flipped by Hivon. Some people doing some pool jumping here. Spark Pool jumped above both of those. These are these markets are in movement, right? They're living things. And if we add more of our hash rate to them, they grow, right? So, and if we take them away, they fall away. But we've got a little over 100 terahash between these two pools that will go away mid-October. F2 pool is now listing themselves as being in the United States. They just have, they've got infrastructure there, so that's good. That's definitely a good thing. But we got about 100 terahash, roughly, a little more actually, about 120 terahash there offhand that's going to displace F2 pool. If it all went to one other pool, it would basically take the place of F2 pool in that number 2 spot. So hopefully we see that happen in the next little while. Is it going to decrease payouts? Is it going to increase your payout? Is it going to do anything to payouts? My prediction? No. Business as usual. We're going to have a couple of days where, again, that one custodian of that one mine way out in the boondocks who feels like they don't get paid enough is going to get their butt kicked by the investor group saying like, why did we stop getting payouts? So we're going to get a couple of days of that where like some hash rate appears to go offline. It's probably still hashing. It's probably still running in a warehouse somewhere, and they're probably still paying full price for their electricity. And then it's just going to switch pools. I think that's really all that's going to happen. I think this is a nothing burger, really. I honestly do. We saw the net hash, for example, of Bitcoin do the same thing, right? When everybody said, oh no, like, look, the Bitcoin miners are leaving China. Definitely Bitcoin's going to be forever different. And what happened? The net hash went up. Yeah, the net hash went up overall. Here we are at 138 exahash. We're at an all-time high for Bitcoin mining. Now, some of the pools are still there. Oh, that's interesting. It seems like for Bitcoin mining, we don't see any of those notices for Easy2Mine, XN Pool, any of these other Chinese-based pools. dpool.top, what else? And then Ant Pool, obviously the number one mining pool, Ant Pool. So they might just change their infrastructure from antpool.com from being hosted in China to like F2 Tool. Anyway, F2 Pool. Is it enough caffeine? Is it too much? I can never tell. So, but F2 Pool, they basically just changed to United States virtual private servers, very likely to be the same with China, right? Or the Ant Pool, moving from China to the US. So they're not putting any notices there, but it's interesting that Ethereum will make that change. Anyway, guys, let's move on from this over to the txstreet.com overview of the markets. I love how they put a little Ledger Nano right there. It's always a lot of fun. Again, I apologize for the slow refresh speeds here. I've decreased the amount of permissions that this website has on Fire Dragon. See, it says you have blocked canvas data extraction for this website, so they can't do any data fingerprinting for me as a viewer. But it does make it run a little slower. So anyway, just a heads up, it's not going to look quite as nice. But we've got right now a current median fee. Oh gosh, come on. Got a current median contract fee of $40.54. Current median ETH transfer fee of apparently just over $5, which is better than it's been in a little while, right? If we're being honest, Ethereum has been a little bit painful to send back and forth for some time now, right? Bit of an issue there, but we're seeing a tiny bit of relief. Could be the time of day that we're in right now, but median gas price, 86 GWei, right? Gwei. Looks like we've got a 98 Gwei block coming up right now. Bitcoin has got a significant number of TXs in the mempool, but nothing more than we've seen in recent history. About 67 cents in US dollars to send Bitcoin right now. Not the best time to coin join because it's a little bit higher than usual, but you can do it. Gallo asks, when cheap GPUs? I don't know, guys. Send me some. I'll make them cheap. I'll sell them cheap. Just, it's easy, right? It's easy. Put it in the mailbox. Go into your mom and dad's room, get a shoebox, put their GPUs in them, and mail them to me. I'll make them cheap. Just kidding. I'll make them free. But don't tell your mom and dad. Shh. Anyway, so yeah, guys, we see that the gas prices they're not the worst that they've ever been on Ethereum right now, but part of that has to do with the network congestion being alleviated through additional scaling solutions, right? Side chains like Polygon, side chains like AVAX. They're not really a side chain that's meant to service Ethereum, but people are going to Avalanche, right? Solana and its usage picking up. Everyone's looking at alternatives, and that's kind of helping to alleviate that congestion. Let's take a look at our profitability, guys, on whattomine.com. Let me bring that size up there so it's a little easier for you to read while we have all the other stuff on screen. I know it's a bit busy, guys. Let me know. Do you like this new layout? Is this working for you? I like that I was able to get OBS to do this. Ravenboy Crypto says, if I send you 1 GPU, will you send me back 2? No, I will send you back 1.5. It'll be 1 GPU and 1 heatsink plus fans. So you get extra cooling. They'll be RGB too, so it'll hash harder. Anyway, let's move on to our profitability. Start with Team Green. We'll go with the 1060, the 1660, the 2060, and the 3060 Ti. I really don't like the new layout. If What to Mine is watching, guys, the new layout is a little bit confusing. It was a little bit easier before. Anonymous Miner says, no scams, Kay. Thanks. Bro, it's not a scam. Ask the person that is responding to the comments all the time down in the comment section with a profile pic just like mine. Nothing that is ever written anywhere on the internet is a scam. Come on. Scam. Anyway, let's take a look at Team Green value and efficiency cards. I've got 10 cent power set up right now. Let's go ahead and reset these because I'm moving over to Fire Dragon, so I've got to reset all of my basics there, the primitives, right? All the parameters. Put on a volume filter of 1 Bitcoin and do our averages of 7 days and refactor all of that. Looks like Team Green value and efficiency is now at an average of about $6.69. All right. Equilibria. Hey, like a bad penny, it has turned up yet again. It is in the number 2 spot at $4.93. Conceal is at $4.46. Flux is at $4.15. And we can maybe take a look. At the calculator over on, is it Miner Pool? I forget which one it is that does the parallel asset payout on Flux. The point is that it's not fully mirrored. It's not a one-to-one mirroring of parallel assets that are paid out. So while you may get parallel assets, it's not necessarily, I was incorrect. I may have said this the wrong way before. It's not all 4 additional parallel assets that are paid out in a one-to-one ratio based on what you see right there. So it's a little bit more close to the profit that you see right there. So let's see. John Germain says, gonna get me a Doge miner, maybe. Hey, I'm just gonna say something that I feel really strongly about. GPU mining is very hard to beat because you have a secondary market. There are definitely plenty of S-crypt miners, and that's what they're called, guys. Anybody who calls them script miners, I'm just here to let you know it's called S-crypt, like encryption, but S-crypt. But an S-crypt miner, they're great. Here's the thing: you could mine Litecoin on GPUs some years ago. In fact, the very first GPUs that I ever mined on started their life as Litecoin miners. And then we got the little, Moonlander USB-based ASICs. Those work pretty well. Those are not quite as profitable anymore either. Then we got the L3s, and then the L3 pluses, and then the L3 plus pluses. Guys, the ASIC game is an arms race. That's an arms race. When your miner is done, if you don't acquire cheaper power, you're done mining. GPUs keep coming back. And we see this on the chart right here. I'll show you. Don't take my word for it. I'll show you. Let's just go with, for kicks and giggles, let's go with the 1050 Ti, bottom of the line card from NVIDIA from several years ago. Let's hit calculate again on this chart. And that bottom of the line card is still earning 33 cents per day. It came back into profit during the bear run, and it's a GPU. So even if you didn't mine on it, you could use it for content creation. It does transcoding at 60 frames per second if you use the NVENC encoder. It does all kinds of stuff, right? It plays games and lets you stream. It goes into workstations. It can be resold, right? There's all kinds of applications for GPUs because they're general purpose compute hardware. ASICs are application specific hardware. They're never usable again after you're done mining with them. So I've got a little bit of hesitation there, guys. I've got a lot of hesitation about recommending ASICs. There's a reason that you don't see me talk about them. There's a reason that you don't see me endorse them for the most part. GPUs are kind of more my speed. So going back into our profitability lineup, though, that's Team Green on the low end. On the high end, we got the 1080 Ti. We've got the 1660S. We've got the 2080 Ti. And then we've got the 3090. And those 4 together, the lion's share is going to go to the 3090. Let's see. And we've got $11.81 in combined score there, combined profit. Equilibria or XEQ is now 872 and Conceal 790. It's awesome right there. That's Team Green. Go to Team Red. We're going to start at the very bottom of the line with the R9 380 and do that one just by itself because it's a very old card that does not use HBM memory. It's GDDR5 memory instead. If you're not familiar with that, it's just old school tech. 21 cents per day on Ethereum Classic and then 15 cents per day. Oof, not there. No, never there. Really, as far as native assets go, it's kind of Ethereum Classic or bust on the R9 380 right now. And that's just fine. You expect that to happen over time where older cards fall out of profit again, but newer cards stay in profit because of the efficiency gained there. The R9 380 is an ancient card. Gamers, well, budget gamers would be happy to get their hands on that now because they can't get their hands on anything else. Ray J says, I've got an S9 in the closet, not in use. Oof. Yeah, if your power isn't cheap enough, I think I understand. Okay, moving from that to the R9 Fury, an HBM-based card, a high bandwidth memory-based card that is from the same rough time period. Ravencoin at 49 cents, Zano at 42 cents for the win there with privacy, I think. And then Ethereum Classic and Beam are also in the money. Beam at 51 cents, but not very high in the stacked ranking. There could be a fluctuation in price right now that's causing it to be extra high in profit, but will cause it to fall out of profit soon. So that's the R9 Fury. Let's take a look at our 4 gig Polaris cards with that 590 there or 570 there. Put in 30.5. That ought to help as far as getting the best possible numbers there, most accurate numbers there. And I've got to say, actually, for the compound numbers, we could do higher than that as well, and we could do more efficient than that as well, but that's a good baseline there. But 61 cents there and then 74 cents on Ethereum Classic seems like a pretty great choice. Either way you go there. And then Beam also at 51 cents, looking really, really good right now. Better than it's been in a while. All right, so show more and go over to our 8 gig Polaris card, 580. And Ethereum at $1.41 every day. There, nothing else really comes close. It's just not even close. Ethereum Classic at about half that. So no contest at all. Let's go from the 580 into our Vega 56. This is going to be an entry-level Vega card. Hit calculate, see what it do. Ethereum at $2.40. Oof, not its best performance, but not its worst. It's still in the money. Here's the thing, guys. We look at some of these numbers and we get really spoiled, right? Like, you know how much I was mining on Ethereum on this card 2 months ago? Yeah, cool, bro. You were mining a lot 2 months ago, but today is today. And if you're still in the money at all, if you're still net positive every single day, and we still have potential future upside in this market, then stop complaining, right? Like, you're still doing well. It's not bad. It's not all bad anyway. Got Gordon in the chat saying, yo, what up, peeps? Good to see you. Thanks for stopping in, spending some time with us. But that's Ethereum on the Vega 56. Let's go over to our Radeon 7. Radeon 7 is the top of the line for the Vega architecture with HBM2 memory. Be awesome to see a successor to it. Ethereum at 497. It does not fail to disappoint, right? So there's, yeah. Here's Radeon 7 just still kicking butt, taking names, doing amazing all by itself. Ethereum Classic is the runner-up, but it's very distant at 283, and then Ergo at 271. Just doesn't come close to Ethereum on that Radeon 7. And then the latest architecture, Navi 2, go with 6800 XT, go with 5600 XT, calculate those two together as for a composite score. About 60% of that will go to the 6800 XT, but let's see, Ethereum at 546, Equilibria, also in second place, but a very distant second place there. Let's see what questions we got in the chat, guys. Let's take a look, like check in we got going here. You guys like that? Chat on screen is fun, yeah? This is fun. I like this. I've got really heavy duty filters on the chat, and we've got really great community here. People are really cool. So, I mean, you guys are awesome. I don't have to worry about chats coming in that are like really mean or really, you know, terrible, awful. So I like having the chat on screen. You know, whatever. Give me a thumbs up. Give me some kind of like feedback if you like having chat on screen too. I've enjoyed this so far. It's been a lot of fun. But let's take a look back through our comments section here. And Pocket Change asks Ray J why that S9 is not in use, and Ray J says power, sound, and heat, otherwise known as the 3 Hashketeers. Yeah, right? Yeah, you can drive your partner crazy, right, with having an ASIC inside the house. For sure. But let's just jump back. Ozzy Bogentech says, Ray J, if you are in West Oz, I can buy it off you. Hey, that's cool. For sure. Guys, awesome. Ray J says, sorry, bro, East USA, Florida. Love to visit Oz. You know what you should do, Ray J? If you're not gonna run it, send it to Serpent X Tech, at least for testing, right? Have him do some liquid immersion testing, or just whatever kind of testing he wants to do with an ASIC. But send it to him for content. It won't have to leave the state. And if you're in North Florida, right, then it might be driving distance. It might just be fun to go meet up, have lunch or whatever. So just a suggestion, right? He's another great content creator and would absolutely make the most of it right now. I know Red Panda Mining sent some stuff over to Serpent X Tech, and if you lined up more content for him with that, it'd be pretty cool. Yeah, Jacksonville area, right about there. So that'd be pretty darn cool. So yeah, Pocket Change is saying that she needs an ASIC to drive Chump Change crazy. So you could also go that route, right? Pocket Change and Chump Change. So Chump Change will just like he'll be the GPU guy, and Pocket Change can be the ASIC gal. Like, look, I don't have time to mess with all these like VBIOS settings and overclocking. Give me an ASIC and let me just plug the thing in. Got to get to business. We need Bitcoins. That would actually be a lot of fun to watch. So just saying. Got a lot of options there, Ray J. A lot of options for third-party content made from those GPUs, or made from that ASIC. Take a look at our portfolio, guys. Flux is still like fluxing things up. I went there. Okay, yeah, I groaned. There you go. So you don't have to. But yeah, Flux is at the top of the list. It's basically just like breaking ankles right now. Look at that. It's just like going punk rock, all elbows, all knees, like what? Get out the way. Yeah, no, that's great. Especially for how bloody the markets have been the last week or so. Flux is doing phenomenal. That's really great price performance right there. Even in a downward channel, it's maintained its value over the point at which we added it to the portfolio. Again, guys, that's sort of the disclaimer. I'm not going to run the red card again, but just the disclaimer that we made a portfolio entry for all this in late May. So really what we're looking at is how the overall market has performed since then. But the intent was to see when Bitcoin like takes a nosedive and all the other coins go with it, right? Off the edge of a cliff, like a bunch of lemmings, how many of them managed to claw their way back up? Because Bitcoin has done okay, right? It's in the $40,000 range. It's not awesome, right? Based on $64,000 all-time high, not awesome. But some of these other coins fell way more and way harder. And as far as getting right back up, they haven't done as well. So to see which ones have done well based on fundamentals and which ones haven't, I think has been very educational. I think Flux is showing its merit right now, as far as it really being able to claw its way back up. It doesn't always get expressed in price. I know, but Flux has been able to. That's pretty cool. Equilibria, again, is a dark horse. Added it to the portfolio because we've been looking at it. It's showing up on the mining profitability, so just wanted to add it to the portfolio. So we didn't, so we weren't blind as to what was going on with that market. But that looks like a weird chart, right? It's not exactly a micro cap, over 9 million for its market cap, but it's a weird looking chart, isn't it? Isn't that a weird chart? Anyway, doesn't totally look manipulated, but it's kind of weird. Gordon is saying, poor Ergo. I know, right? Or as Carter calls it, ERGO. I love it. I actually really like it when he calls it that. It's like ERGO. It's like it's going to the ER right now. Woo! Call EMS. Get the defibrillator. Ergo is heading towards the light. No, Ergo. Don't go towards the light. Stay above $1,000. That's what we put into you. So yeah, everything else above the line there is doing pretty well. Everything below Conceal is underwater, right? But Grin is our first loser, and everything else below that, it ends in BitTube and Swap. They've been, taking all of the tail end up, and it's a bummer. Good luck to both of them. BitTube is now kind of circling the drain at that $1 million market cap point. Swap is very close to that $250,000 market cap point. We'll see how much longer these coins survive. And I mean, I hate to say it because BitTube, love the developer team, love the vision that they had 3 years ago when I first was exposed to them and worked like with a bit of their team to talk about their roadmap and stuff. It makes me very sad to see that the coin right now is not doing well. But got to be real. Not every coin survives a bull to bear cycle and then a bear to bull cycle, right? And certainly a bear to bull to bear cycle. That's why this portfolio is so impactful, guys, because we want to see what price action does to investor confidence. And it's the kind of thing that we as miners don't have control over. We can add hash rate all we want, and that doesn't necessarily help investors feel like, you know what, this is great. So I'm going to go trade this. I want to make it look good on the exchanges. Gosh darn it. I want to keep the price high. Doesn't always work, right? It's sad. But was it Captain Picard said that you can make about the Kobayashi Maru, right? You can do everything right, and you can still fail. There's some cryptos that's going to describe at the end of this this bull cycle. So anyway, and yeah, it was Picard, and he wasn't actually describing the Kobayashi Maru, but that was from Next Generation. Hard drive mineable coins, guys. Made safe is in the green, in the black. It's not really in the green. It's not super profitable based on before. It was like kicking butt before. Everything else was in the red. Chia is down in the dumps at an even 150. What is Chia right now? About 150. Just about. Down 81%. Or as we say on the streets, we say it's down bad. These streets. Okay, that's enough of that. CPU mineable coins. Got Raptorium still melting faces. Good grief. Good grief. I think I needed to take like 2 showers after I saw that last time. I was like, oh. I think I like every single pore in my body sweat at the same moment. I was like, ugh, what just happened? But I'm still recovering from the shock. Raptorium is still at the very top of that. Pretty amazing. Verifone still at the very bottom of this side of the portfolio with CPU mineable coins. I'm open to suggestions to adding new coins to our CPU mineable portfolio. What do you guys got? We added Epic Cash, and it wound up actually kind of being epic. I mean, begrudgingly, I have to admit it, right? As far as the price action goes, pretty good. But if you guys have suggestions for CPU mineable coins, this side of the portfolio is kind of sparse. We want to beef this up a little bit. So let me know. Monero, middle of the pack, not quite above $1,000. And let's see, Monero, still, it's a test net, right? What do you expect? They may have had some recent good news, and maybe they managed to launch that solo mining algorithm right there. But we saw that pumping in the last 24 hours. That's pretty good. Yeah, good stuff. But that's our CPU mineable coins. Alex Burton says, holy cow, my AMD hates me today. Bro, AMD could never hate you. Ever. So, Anonymous Miner says, QRL, Quantum Resistance Ledger. Cool, let's do it. Let's add QRL. We'll do it live. Quantum Resistant Ledger, there it is. Yeah, you know, I figured it out. You gave me the ticker symbol. We sorted it. It's all right. So, add this. See what our price was back in the day, right? Using a little way back. There we go. I feel like I keep having to like rescale this so it's a little more comfortable for you guys to read. Not my favorite thing to have to do all the time. And in case you guys are wondering, I am wearing the classic "This GPU can hash all night" hoodie, pullover hoodie, and I have not. Your wife just yelled from the other room. Who was that sexy baritone? I don't know. Some guy who screams obscenities on YouTube. because we get sick with this. It's obscene. So let's take a look at QRL. But guys, this pullover is no longer available on I think even on Amazon. I think I delisted it on Amazon, but the t-shirt still is. If you want this GPU can hash all night. There we go. I'll actually put that voice to work, right? Okay, crack the whip on this voice. Okay. This GPU can hash all night. So I like this design. Classic design. But let's take a look at our price at that time. Ooh, I think we're going to have some bad news here, guys. Bummer. Looks like 23 cents, 69.23. All right. 23, 69.23. Bummer. Uh-oh. It looks like you're down, though. Anonymous Miner. Yeah, it looks like you're going to be down just a little bit. But that's not too strange, right? Considering how all of the other coins have gone recently. All right, so here we are. Two six, no, 2369, 23. And I'm going to pull that off screen so I can still see it because I'll lose window focus. But it looks like that's not right. Yeah, that's not right at all. My maths. What's wrong with my maths? Okay, so yeah, Ozzy Bogan, Texas just gives us all the ASMR. I could maybe get away with an ASMR channel. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Not convinced that I could actually pull it off. Hey, there we go. I had that totally wrong. Okay, something, I don't know, some kind of an error when I typed that in. 78. All right, cool. And jump back to May 26th. What is wrong with you? Whee! Makes autistic screech. This one only likes click input. Oh, gosh. Okay. But we've got our times down. We've got our prices down, and we're good. That fits. Looks like Quantum Resistant Ledger is just above Verifone. So not the worst performer, but it's not really our best performer either. That's too bad. Down 23%. I should have been calling out our 24-hour portfolio change on all of these portfolios. We're down 16.8% on the CPU portfolio, but we're overall up on the P&L by 87%. Not bad. You love to see it. ASIC. What up, ASIC? Take a look at this. Total portfolio change or 24-hour change, 4.6% up. Total P&L down almost 15%. Oof. Not quite a mega oof, but it's a pretty big oof, actually. Only two coins are above the water treaded line, and that is Go Mining Token and Bitcoin. So that works. Everything else, yeah, in the red. Green is our first loser, and Pirate Chain is our worst loser at 49.3% since we added to the portfolio. Let's see. Alex is asking, mind your biz, what is your RDP access of choice? I'm loving Chrome Remote Desktop to access all of my BitCave rigs from the house. You know, I think I've only ever used, like I use VNC clients. I don't use like Windows Remote Desktop. So let's see if this guy still exists, but chicken of the VNC. There it is, chicken of the VNC. I think I used that. Gosh, I think I had to use that on Mac OS. And then I think there's just some other like random VNC clients for Linux and for Windows that I've used before. And I'm not remembering which ones I've used, but yeah, remote desktop clients are not my favorite thing. Kind of prefer, yeah, kind of prefer locking things down. Gordon, yeah, just use Windows and open all your ports up. Yeah, no, thank you for putting in the just joking. Some people will not understand. They'll be like, this is a good idea. I want to do this. Somebody on YouTube said it was cool. Yeah. Anyway, so I forget what the VNC client is that I used most recently on Linux, but let's go ahead and like best cross-platform VNC client. Yeah, I know, Gordon, you use TeamViewer. I've used TeamViewer too, but oof. Oof. Yeah. Yeah, I guess I do kind of default to TeamViewer in the past, but I mean, guys, there's a reason that I always talk about HiveOS, and that's because it works. It works, guys. It just works. So there's that. And then, or any kind of like Linux and then being able to SSH into a Linux machine and then just pass commands right over bash. That's why I like HiveOS as far as like easy configuration, is because I can do the shell in a box. So from the web, I can send bash commands. So it's a little bit easier. You can lock things down a little bit too. You can secure your HiveOS rigs more, right? There are hardening tutorials on that. I haven't shown those tutorials or anything, but they're out there as far as hardening HiveOS. But you can do the same thing with just Ubuntu, right? And all of the mining software and all of the wallet software is available for Ubuntu. So you can install Ubuntu, or you can install Debian, and it's free and it's relatively secure. And once you know what your start scripts are, you can have all the start scripts ready. So your configuration takes way less time than installing Windows on new machines or having to reinstall Windows on new machines. In fact, you can take the image from one and you can completely just like use the DD command from the bash shell, and you can copy that onto a new SSD and voila, plug it into a new machine that is with the same specs and it runs the same. So there's a lot that Linux does that Windows can't even hope to do. There's a reason I keep talking about that. Alex says, so mind you, Brez, I'm hearing that 10.10.10.xx is safe with all passwords being admin. No, user is admin. Password is 1234. Duh, get it right. This guy. All right, so looks like our ASIC mineable lineup, Pirate Chain is the biggest loser. Kind of a sad thing, but that's not a big change. FPGA mineable coins. We're down bad, guys. 24-hour change is down, but also our total P&L is down by 20%. Cadena is the only one that is above our break-even line. Everything else is down pretty bad. I mean, the first loser is Tellor. The biggest loser, 0x Bitcoin, is almost down by 70%. Except Tellor it kicks it off at 40% down, and then we'd like plummet again. Guys, this is the closest thing to the gates of hell, right? Where it's like a big fall, like ouch, and you actually can't slow it down because Tellor is like this glass, you just break through and keep on falling in this side of the portfolio. Just doesn't look good. It looks so bad. It looks so bad. Yeah, it looks bad, real bad. So guys, again, consider that like as far as being able to set up rigs for just for sustainability and for stability, you don't even have to use any commercial mining software. You can just use Linux. Like I said before, you can just use Linux. If you know that you're going to like have one like monolithic build type, so maybe you have like all AMD on a certain kind of motherboard. And with that motherboard, again, like I mentioned before, if you know there are start scripts that you've gotten set up, you configured a certain way, like you can literally sit in front of it, right? And make sure that you have things configured the way you like it using a graphical user interface. You don't have to be like Hacker Man and use the terminal all the time, but you can set it up exactly as you want it. And then if you know you're going to do another build that is like all AMD, right? Same kind of cards, or all NVIDIA, same kind of cards, you can copy that OS drive bit for bit, use the DD command, right? So, and then you can put it on another rig. Ray J is saying that he only has 4 rigs anyway, in which case that was the idea, is that the at-home miner usually for HiveOS and allowing for 4, free uses, is that the average at-home user typically only has like between 2 and maybe 4 rigs most of the time anyway. With GPU mineable rigs, you can add another splitter and add more risers to one also. So you can run a 12-card rig instead of an 8-card rig if you really wanted to, right? If you wanted to scale that way. So you have like up to 48 GPUs, right? Almost 50 GPUs. Or if you have, the H110 BTC Pro, right? Like 13 GPUs per motherboard. You're over 50 GPUs that you've got supported there. I think there's always a way, guys. You can find a way, is all I'm saying. But in the meantime, if you really feel so strongly about it, like for whatever reason, like you just hate going with one or the other, like without being bound to any one mining pool or bound to any one OS. You can totally just use Ubuntu. It's free to download. And then once you know the software that you want to run, you can set up a command to download all the software that you want from the repositories. It takes more time, right? That's the thing. It takes more time to learn how to do, but then it's reproducible. You can totally do that however you want. Anyway. All right, that's our FPGA mining portfolio. Going to our proof of stake smart contracts. Terra Luna, still at the top of the stack. 24-hour change, we're up. And total P&L, we're up by 62%. Looks pretty darn good. Yep, John Germain just uttered the magic words, sudo apt-get install. You got it. Sudo apt-get install. And let me add to that in the chat. So sudo apt-get install space -y. Yeah, just Y. Now, that might seem weird, but in between what John just wrote and what I just wrote, you can add the name of a bunch of different packages that you might want to have installed. And if your Linux machine or your Ubuntu machine already has support for the repositories where those are found, like the server where that software is, those binaries, that software is stored, you just have to put in the names. And it will go and find that software for you, and it will automatically download it. And with that -y appendage that I just said to add, it will prevent the shell from asking you, do you really want to install this? It's like, bro, I just told you I wanted to install it. You already said yes. And that's all the -y means. You already said yes. You've already pre-approved it. You just walk away, get yourself a sandwich, come back, and everything you wanted installed was installed. You don't have to sit around like waiting for a taskbar to show you something on Windows. Anyway, just, I know I'm being condescending and weird, but it's because I love you guys. Anyway. But, yep. So Barry's saying, or sudo apt install. Sudo apt get is just going to, make sure that you have, I think, other dependencies and make sure that you can find it. So it's just a little bit more robust a command. Nothing, I mean, strictly speaking, it's not always necessary, like Barry's saying, but, Yeah. And like he's saying, there's an apt-get. So anyway, this is not a Linux channel. Primarily, you guys can go see Brody Robertson for that, or the other guys, whatever. But proof of stake smart contracts, Terra Luna, Solana, Avalanche. Oh my gosh, there were people in the audience who literally fell asleep. They're like, why are you talking about Linux at all, ever? Jeremy is asking, anything mineable with the processor? Yes. So if you're talking about the CPU that goes on the motherboard, plenty that's mineable on the CPU. And we've got a portfolio that we cover where we talk about that. And we already passed over that, but you'll be able to rewind in the video and take a look at that section. But proof of stake smart contracts, we've got Terra Luna, Solana, still kicking butt, still in that number 2 spot. Avalanche, Phantom, they are rounding out the top 4. 5th is Cosmos. And then it's the other usual suspects, right? Wax, Cardano, Polkadot. Polkadot kind of fallen out of favor. Clearly, it's not receiving as much love as it did before. And it kind of seems like Solana has pretty much eaten its lunch by having smart contracts available in production. And now I guess NFTs paired with that. So pretty darn cool. But biggest losers are Internet Computer and unfortunately Polygon. I really hate seeing that. I hate seeing Polygon so low in the rankings because of how useful it is. But there you have it, based on dates, not on merit, I think. Automated liquidity. Take a look at this last part of the portfolio. The very lowest performing assets, unfortunately, are Dragon's Quick and QuickSwap. Thorchain is down pretty bad too. We're almost 50% down for Thorchain post-hack. It's not just about the Bitcoin price going down. I think it has to do with the fact that Thorchain was hacked. That winds up shaking investor confidence pretty bad when a project like that is hacked. Same with Haven, right? Unfortunately, Haven got, I think, the short end of the stick there, but it takes a while to build investor confidence back up. So, yeah. All right. Looks like middle of the pack, nothing to see there. Pancake Swap is where we start to see profit again. Ampleforth, Serum, Hyperburn, and then, of course, Hex is ever present. It is above 41 cents right now. I think it peaked overnight or something too, and then had a little dip before that, but I'm not a hex analyst or whatever. It's just, it's in this list because we needed some place to put it that actually made sense, and it didn't make sense anywhere else. But there it is at the top of that list. It's just done phenomenally well. For a short time, though, if you recall, Raptorium was doing better, but it has pulled back, right? It has pulled back quite a bit from that all-time high a few days ago. So yeah, that's kind of corrected a bit. So, yeah, that's our full lineup of portfolios there, guys. But I'm curious, are there any other coins that you want me to add to the portfolio so that we have it in the future? Any at all, let me know in the comment section. I know you will. You guys are great about that. Let's see. Alex is asking about total farm hash rate. I don't publish my total farm hash rate. I don't publish my crypto holdings. I don't publish my power bill. I don't publish my financials. Why? Because we live now in a state where if the federal government knows how much you're earning, if they know how much, like what your power rates are and how much you've been able to mine, they have stated plainly, Secretary Janet Yellen has stated plainly that they want to tax your unrealized capital gains in crypto. So I'm going to stick with that policy. You do you. I'll just stand by with my tinfoil hat on and increase the paranoia. We need balancing forces in nature. I'll be that guy. So, yeah. Skill Checkmates is asking, on the topic of hex, have you been following Pulse Chain development? In fact, I have. And you know what? I feel I did a little tweet storm earlier today, taking a look at Alex says, well, what about the last four of your social, your birthday and mother's maiden name? Well, that obviously, I've got no problem giving away because, spoiler alert, I'm basically destitute. Like, seriously, steal my identity, please, and my kids too. But anyway, Skill Checkmates asks about Pulse Chain development, and yes, I have been following it. I realized that the test net went live for Pulse Chain last night. I'm kind of excited about that. Actually, I'm very excited about that because I'm interested in seeing new projects on scaling chains, right? Basically on side chains at this point. I'm of the opinion now that if we wait for optimistic rollups, we will wait too long, right? Like the tech for optimistic rollups on Ethereum, it takes too long. So until there's some way to increase the speed of optimistic rollups, or on the flip side, there's some way to increase the parallel number of ZK rollups for increased security there, then I think we're kind of at an impasse. Like, not many people are really being very decisive or committed to just to making optimistic rollups a reality and getting people to use them, or making ZK rollups a reality and getting people to use them. ZK rollups, I'm a bigger fan of using anything that requires zero knowledge proofs to be able to use cryptography to anonymize transactions and people on a network. I think the ZK rollups have a bright future in that way, but there are limitations, right? So there are some problems there. Optimistic rollups take time, right? They take a lot more time to complete. I'm not okay with that. I don't want Ethereum to turn into Bitcoin, right? Where it's like, oh, this is actually a feature. Really, you want to think about doing settlement on more regular, on longer intervals. It's not about transactional throughput. It's about making sure that you have stability. No, it kind of is about transactional throughput too. That's kind of, yeah, that is kind of a bit of an issue with Hey, Alex, he missed the jalapeno poppers too. Let him know. They were tasty, man. He did miss out on a lot. So anyway, but yeah, there's all these trade-offs, right? As far as scaling Ethereum. And for me right now, I'm viewing the side chains as working. Like, I view side chains as Ethereum. It's not literally layer one, but for me, Polygon is getting it done. It works. It works. So I'm not questioning the methodology, because Polygon also has not been hacked, and they also haven't rug pulled, right? And they also don't control 90% of the staking coin supply. They do have a controlling interest, but it's not 90%. So I have some concerns with other systems out there. Pulse Chain, I'm excited for. I think it seems unlikely based on Richard Hart's history with Hex at this point, because there's actually some history now. Seems unlikely that he's going to rug pull, right? So that's kind of eased my mind there. However, it's still an obvious fact that somebody controls like 90%, will be controlling like 90% of the Pulse Chain supply. And since they control like 90% of the Pulse Chain supply, that is going to directly affect their voting rights as far as the validator network. So there's a bit of a concern there if there's whatever, theft or loss, right? Or just really angry people from the United States government showing up, knocking on the door of the person who controls those keys. Because if you live anywhere near the Five Eyes countries, right, or in the EU and the United States, they're not on bad terms. They're on pretty good terms. So you send people from the United States over to the EU and say, you know what? We don't like this person that owns 90% of the coin supply or controls either directly or indirectly the private keys to this thing or that thing. We're pretty sure we know who it is. And so, yeah, we're going to send one of our representatives, one of our finest, right, from the CIA, over to your house to convince you that you should give us your keys because they're safer with us. Guys, that's the thing. That's a concern of mine. When you talk about proof of stake systems, decentralization, if you don't prioritize the controlling stake being outside of one person's control, then there's a bit of an issue there too. So I know that was always the criticism of some people towards Matic, right, towards Polygon. But I don't think that that's as big a criticism of Polygon anymore. I don't think that's an issue. Plus, they're forming the DAO and they're working with Hermes for ZK rollups. So there's all kinds of stuff that they're working into their ecosystem that improves my confidence in Polygon. But I really want to see what Pulse Chain does. I'm still excited. I'm still optimistic that the leadership is going to do the right thing and that the developer talent is going to try to build features that people want to use. So I'm excited. I think it's going to be cool. Like, I mean, yeah, I have my misgivings. I have my concerns, but I'm excited to see what they build. That said, I'd be more excited to see it be a bit like Polygon, be a lot more aligned with Ethereum, like a lot more aligned with Ethereum, and then have it be something that that the rest of the ecosystem could feel as confident in as people do seem to with Polygon, right? So like you got Coinbase accepting Polygon on like the Polygon network, not the ERC20 token on Ethereum layer 1, but the Polygon network. You've got, again, Ethermine, a big one. Guys, that's 22% of the total net hash on Ethereum today. And we're not even talking about what happens when we go back to a lower hash rate, and there's the potential for Ethermine to grow in influence, right? That's like 22% of the global net hash on Ethermine that can be paid out on Polygon. So it doesn't have to be. It doesn't mean that everybody is getting Polygon payouts, but it does mean that Ethermine is prepared to pay out up to 22% of all the block reward. Yeah, Alex, you came in late. I already talked about that too, so you're gonna have to rewind on that one. But yeah, the China FUD. Yeah, China FUD. It's not. Well, this isn't FUD though. So yeah, mining pool stats is just relaying some of this. So, but yeah, I already talked about that. So yeah, guys, I look at this right now, and when these pools do shut down, it may only grow the amount of hash rate that goes into Ethermine. And again, Ethermine is prepared to pay out on Polygon, and they're prepared to pay out everybody that mines to their network on Polygon. All of the new Ethereum that is issued, like that could all get paid out on Polygon if people chose that, if miners chose that. So that's why I'm bullish on Polygon. That's why I'm bullish on the ecosystem, right? Stuff like QuickSwap, stuff like Zelcore, guys. Huge shout out to the Flux team. Been chatting with them. And if you saw my posts on Twitter, I've been trying out their latest beta releases of the Zelcore wallet because on the desktop, they've rolled out Polygon support natively inside of Zelcore. It's pretty cool. So whether you're a Flux miner or you're an ETH miner, or you're an ETH miner on Ethermine who wants to take your payouts on Polygon network, Flux now totally supports that. It's pretty cool. I'm really, really excited. And I, you know, behind the scenes, I may or may not have been like really, really trying to fan the flames over there at Flux. because it's really great, right? It's actually like people are actually using this today. So anyway, that was a long, roundabout way of me just saying, like, I don't understand why Polygon itself as an asset is so relatively undervalued. I think it's probably relatively undervalued, but I'm less concerned about that. I'm a lot more concerned about it actually just working, and it just works. It works right now. I'm happy using it. Transactions don't get stuck. They go through fast. They're really low cost. I'm happy using it, and I'm happy to continue using it. Let's take a look at our Bitcoin chart real fast. We got some mining chopsticks here. We got our little our chopsticks. We failed to capture, or we're not quite there yet. But if we do, let's see, get all the way, early October. If we fail to see a return of the 50-day heading back towards the 200-day, then we're not going to see any kind of a crossover. A golden cross, I think, is probably out of the question. I think I mentioned this over on Maria's channel. And if you have not seen that one yet, it was a lot of fun. I like being on Maria's channel. She's a nice gal, nice content creator out of Spain. But yeah, we were seeing that kind of a rejection of a death cross a few times. Like, all right, we got more steam, we're going up, but then we saw a reversal, right? And we hit a death cross, and now we're seeing a rejection of a golden cross. And without doing any more, fancy technical analysis, it's not what I do on this channel. I'm still trying to learn. MACD and RSI are something that I'm trying to wrap my head around to start, and then also be able to like maybe draw some fib lines so that I have something that resembles targets or whatever, right? Price targets. That's kind of like my plan moving forward. But in the meantime, it does seem like what we have on the chart right now, that we're seeing a rejection of the golden cross. We've already seen that once, and I wonder if that will repeat again, right? Like a lot of people are saying we're not going to go below 40K, and we kind of didn't, right? So, I mean, this is not me trying to call anything specific here either. And I love seeing the chopsticks come in, guys. Thanks. I gotta approve those. It's so weird that I have to approve those. YouTube is weird sometimes. So anyway, yeah, I've got RSI on the on the chart, as you can see. And so we flipped bullish, but even still, like it's not to the same extent. Gordon is mentioning that ETH is pumping. Let's go ahead and just pull that up here on CoinGecko for now. Yeah, no kidding. That's beautiful, beautiful little pump right there. So that looks really, really nice. Looks like, I don't think we're gonna get perfectly accurate numbers there, but it looks like almost 5% pump. That's great. Barry says he's ready for 20K Bitcoin. Dude, you and me both. I just don't think we're going to see it. And at least not in a time frame that we expect. I'll put it that way. Like, it would be amazing, but it never happens when you want it to. It happens when it happens, right? So there you go. But yeah, right now, there's no telling, and I don't think we've got enough data from just the 50 and the 200-day moving average, but it does seem like, kind of zooming out, we're seeing a rejection there. And it's not that was exactly the same thing from before, but we didn't see any kind of like stabilization until we hit a golden cross, and then and had a few crossovers there. But like, again, not trying to make any kind of a prediction, right, guys? I'm just trying to look at a chart so that I at least get myself in the habit of like, okay, what the heck is this stuff doing, right? Like, look at a chart for once in your life, try to understand it, put in the time, and also it's just fun, right? Because also, there's a lot of technical analysis out there that you watch, and it's like, oh, they're totally throwing spaghetti at the wall, so they can cherry pick later on and be like, see that one thing again? It's like the chopsticks, like, oh, that one piece of spaghetti. You see what I got? It was totally right. I was right. I called the top. You guys tired yet? Does stuff make you tired? It's got to make you. It makes me tired watching some of that stuff where people like do the open mouth and like right clickbait thumbnail, like, oh, look what, oh my gosh, Bitcoin gonna do the thing again. It's like, dude, but you were wrong. Like 80% of your calls were wrong. So I just kind of want to get a little bit better at chart reading and feel like I'm not going crazy when I look at historical data. That's kind of my thing right now. Anyway, yeah, Gallo, I hate charts. And Alex says, spaghetti at the wall. You mean like BitBoy does? I mean, I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. BitBoy's got opinions. He's also a media producer. That's the thing, right? So he's got opinions. I don't hold them against him. So, but I don't think he pretends to do all. I've never really seen his TA though either. I don't know that he actually pretends to do TA. So anyway, yeah, it would be super great. Like, yeah, Bitcoin, if you could just get that 50-day to sort of intersect with the 200-day sometime between like the 2nd and 4th, that'd be great. Yeah, thank you. Tyler's in the chat asking, what's your favorite chain right now? ETH, Avalanche, Sol, etc. Good question. It's a really good question. I think I just went on a diatribe about how I really like Polygon for its utility, but let's be very, very clear. It has not been something that has enriched people just by buying and holding. So maybe I'm not the right guy to ask for like if you're looking for like Lambro takes, like if the thing that's going to help you 10x in the next like 3 weeks. I don't know, man. There may be some other like gems we could do, gem hunting. And I do have projects that are asking me to do a little bit of gem hunting type stuff. Like do some intro to this, micro cap coin type media. Guys, let me just ask you straight up on the live stream. Would that be okay if I introduced you to some projects that people haven't really heard of? Like if they come to me like that, is that okay? Because that's not really my typical thing. But if they're coming to me early, it's because they're looking for people to talk about them. And at least on a couple of occasions, that's turned out well. Tencent was really good, right? Then they came to me. And then so was their sort of like AR video game creation studio. That was also a really good thing that came out of the Tencent launchpad, but they came to me. So yeah. Yeah, 10x in 3 weeks. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna be making those kinds of claims. But Alex says, safe moon all the way. Wait, no, please don't, for real. Don't do that. Yeah. So yeah, Gallo says, get paid though. No free tacos for the projects. Yeah. And Gordon asks, can you get the Shiba Inu team on? LOL. I don't know. There's a lot of Anon teams too. So guys, I just want to make sure that this is something I get your permission to do, right? Like I'm here to make sure, I'm here to help this audience and help you in some way to either learn something you don't know or have a discussion that we're not having somewhere else, right? On other channels. So I don't just want to do what everybody else is doing. But at the same time, we are still in market conditions where new projects are either launching or launched not too long ago, and they are looking for exposure. And they are willing to compensate me for my time. And they are willing to do like giveaways and airdrops and NFTs and stuff. Yeah, those do look like gyoza. Gallo is commenting on an emoji in the chat. I'll pull that up real fast. Yeah, looks like gyoza to me. So, but yeah, so there are projects out there that are wanting to get more exposure. And I just want to make sure that's okay. Like if I'm doing that in between live streams and stuff. John Germain throws some tacos up on screen. I love to see it. So guys, let me do this. I'm going to leave the chopsticks exactly where they are right now. Thank you for throwing your chopsticks in the live chat. Appreciate you guys being here live too. I really love having these on screen. That's fun. Seriously, I'm so glad. I don't know what took me so long to bring those back. I don't know. I'm glad they're back. I'm glad you guys are playing along too. And Anonymous Miner says, I think I'm one of the few content producers that pushes dual mining ZIL. Hey, no, good point. I think I've tried ZIL, but I don't really push it because I've really enjoyed, as far as like my mining goes, I've enjoyed just decreasing fees, payout fees by doing the Ethermine to Polygon stuff. I'd like to do a lot more quick swap stuff as well, because, if you're getting payouts natively on Matic, why wouldn't you use quick swap for like, for liquid staking, right? Or for compound staking, or for doing your trades and stuff. You're going to save a ton of money over getting native ETH and trying to use Uniswap to do the same stuff. Like, you'll get killed if you're a smaller scale crypto miner, like Ethereum miner. You're gonna get destroyed on that stuff. Good Guy Biker says, Flash bots, bro. Alex, man, we need to do a live session with you talking about Flash bots. Like, since you're here, first off, it's good to see you in the chat, man. Guys, we got the illustrious Good Guy Biker, Alex Hellman, in the chat. So let me throw chat back up on screen. And guys, if you'd like to do a deep dive on Flash bots, tag Good Guy Biker right now and ask him really politely to do a live stream with me, because it's a beautiful, it's a beautiful pursuit that he's doing there. But MEV and Flash bots, I don't think I know anybody who's more qualified to talk on the topic from a miner's perspective, right? Not just from people who are like, yeah, I'm trying to front run everybody else because I got to do, like, you know, because I need more NFTs and I got like whatever else. I've got to get in my trades because I'm a like full blown degen, but somebody who's actually like steeped in the space. So ETH cats are working on it right now. Cool. But yeah. So guys, go ahead and tag him, like spam him if you have to. But yeah, I'd love that. So Flash bots sound like a lot of fun too. And yeah, Flash loans. But yeah, guys, I've really enjoyed it. For the question before, like, I really enjoyed getting Polygon based payouts because I'm not a large scale miner with my own mining gear. I have helped mid-scale operations. I've built mid-scale operations, but my own operations, I don't run like multiple warehouses full of gear. Not mine anyway, not for me. So yeah, I like having the fees be low. So there you go. He says Flashbots protect you from MEV. We'll have to talk about it on another live stream, guys. We are finishing up for the night. I'm actually smelling dinner right now. Is fresh. Schmiegelson is in the chat and says, mind your biz, buddy. What's up, Schmiegelson? Got one last round of chats and shout outs before I go. Tell me what's on your mind, guys. And also anything else you want me to add to the portfolio. We're still looking at anything that has performed from late May till today. And we want to have it in this portfolio. We want to be able to try to compare stuff, at least in the same time frame, right? It helps us understand a little bit better, like what has performed well in that same time frame. But let me know if you have anything else you'd like me to add. Until then, guys, there's a reason that I wear the Bitcoin logo, or wear the Bitcoin symbol in my logo on my head every live stream. It is hard money. I do believe in the vision and in the mission of Bitcoin. So don't get it twisted. When we talk about all these other projects, I'm not at any point saying, like, you know what, this thing's the next Bitcoin. That's insane, right? Many have tried, all have failed. Nothing is the next Bitcoin. So there's that. Couple last minute questions coming in. Alex says, have you added Chia? I mean, dude, it's only at the bottom of the hard drive mining list every single time we go live. So yep, it's there. And Ozzy says, mind your biz, do you know if the Ethermine Asia pool is based in China? You know, it seems like it probably would be. So I'm a little bit confused as to why it is not showing as China, but it's shown as global, right? So US, EU, Asia. It could be based in China. It could be that they were thinking a few steps ahead and they're in Taiwan or some other place. So yeah. See, Pocket Change says it would be cool if you got Serpent on too. Yeah, right? Serpent's good people. Yeah, Vega's cool. So we should probably do something like that. Let's see. Skill Checkmates asks about DYDX. Guys, what category should I put that in? Should it be under automated liquidity? I think it probably should be, right? I'll just add that as we go here. Good Guy Biker, yeah, he comes with the he's bringing the truth here, guys. Alibaba did in fact delist Bitcoin mining stuff. So guys, this is not FUD. And like we talked about before, right here, shutting down September 30th, not FUD. It's not FUD. This is an announcement, right? They're warning you. It's not FUD. But let's go to our automated liquidity and put in DYDX. And it's going in. Cool. So we'll add some numbers to that later on. I won't do that right now. And that would be cool. Yeah, Gigabiker says Seth and Craig Wright are working in super secret dark basements. Now, Craig Wright, I thought he worked in Antigua and Barbuda with his buddy Calvin Ayre. Yeah, no, he does not work in basements. Yeah, and I'm not a shadowy super coder. I think literally only half of one of those words applies to me. So yeah, no stolen valor here, guys. I'm not even as cool as Craig Wright. Not even close. Guys, I'm looking for any other chats that I missed from before. Joe was mentioning I use Aave, QuickSwap, and Curve on Polygon. Cool. Anonymous Miner reminds us that Zill has sharding. It's cool. So it poops and farts at the same time. Great. Every blockchain should do this. All of them. Let's see what else we got. You're scrolling back to the tacos, the dim sum gyoza. Good stuff, man. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. I mean, I missed a lot of chats. We had, like, chat was off the hook. It was a lot of fun today with chat on screen, but I missed a lot. So I'm still scrolling through to see what else I got. What else I got? Tats for tacos. Oh my gosh, Alex had to keep the hashtag trending. Tats for tacos. Still no tats, still no tacos. I think I've had a quesadilla recently, but let's be real. When you're hungry for tacos, a quesadilla is like a runner-up. It's just, it kind of just gets your appetite going. It doesn't really handle it. But it was a corn tortilla quesadilla, and it was prepared right. Don't get it twisted. Gordon says Mega Doge. I think that's always appropriate. In any context, Mega Doge. I think in the future, that's what we're going to call dudes in crypto who are like unsavory. Right? He's a Mega Doge. But yeah, unrealized gains, guys, that's something that Janet Yellen has talked about here in the United States. So, you know, keep it secret, keep it safe. Got people troubleshooting Threadripper in the chat, which is awesome too. And yeah, again, guys, both Barry and John, you know, they imparted a little bit of Ubuntu wisdom. If you're not really familiar with like updating packages or looking for packages, doing package management from the command line in Ubuntu, you should look it up. Really, it's great. It'll help you with any kind of mining software, because a lot of the stuff that you have to do when you've used SSH to get in, like to remote into an ASIC too. Anytime you learn this sort of thing or you have hands on some of this stuff, it helps you to level up somewhere else. Just good to practice. All right, guys, I think that is the majority of our chat. Double checking there. Oof. Yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. That's pretty much it. Ivan just jumped in though and asked, are there any easy mining pools that are easy to set up? I've tried watching videos and all of it seems super complex. You know, I'm gonna be really straight with you, Ivan. At first, it is really daunting. Like if you're not familiar with this sort of thing, it feels really overwhelming. And I'm sorry, man, there's not really a way to make that much simpler. There are some mining OSs that make it a little bit easier in setting up like flight sheets and stuff, but still configuring the mining pool and configuring the script that runs so that you have the mining pool with the username, which is like your wallet address, and a password set up. That can be kind of confusing at first. The best way, in my opinion, to handle that is to go to the various different mining pools that you want to use and look at their connect page or their how to connect page, and then just see how a few different mining pools, how they phrase it, and see if that helps you to understand it by giving you a little more context. So sorry, man, but welcome aboard. Glad you're doing this. Yeah, Good Guy Biker is on to me. He is on to me in my old botnet ways. You can take the what is it, the hacker out of the botnet team, but you can't take the botnet team out of the hacker. Says Mind Your Biz does what's called distributed mining. His other computer is your computer. Not really though. That is true. It really isn't. And guys, that's also the reason that I've made the full-time switch to Linux, and that when I am using wallets and stuff, I'm more focused on using ephemeral versions of Linux, or forgetful versions of Linux like Tails or whatever, Tails OS, because I don't like the idea of anybody else, like if they do successfully borrow my computer for their mining goals, I'd like to try to make it as hard as possible for them. He says, what about a son of a tech collab? You can call yourself Son of a Taco. Nice. And Good Guy Biker, he and I have the same opinion on Nice Hash. Don't think you should use it. And Ashanti, hey, what's up? Ashanti, thanks for stopping by. Says, yar, hope your day's been good, my G. Thanks for stopping in, Ashanti. I appreciate that. Guys, I'm going to call it a night. Really appreciate you being here. I am strongly considering, some kind of a fun project, token project somewhere, not for personal enrichment, but for kicks. Maybe we'll do it on a test net just to keep it, keep it on that level. But appreciate you guys being here. Thanks so much for hitting that thumbs up button. Thanks so much for sharing this video with somebody who you think would appreciate it. Everything that you do along those lines helps YouTube to know that this is content that you like and that maybe they should promote. I am going to be focusing a bit on, a facelift for the channel, a bit more content that's like more educational and maybe slightly more frequent live streams, but maybe shorter for some of those more frequent live streams. Appreciate you guys being here. Thanks so much for being active and engaged. You're the reason I make this media. I love your face. Remember to stay private and mind your biz.